There we go. Oh, well, isn't that beautiful? So I'm down here in Philly, doing a little job, helping out a guy. Kind of an interesting setup here. This house right here was built in the 1800s originally, and it was a doctor's house. And then he had this house, which is where the guy lives, and these other two houses built for his family and daughters. But he's got a pretty big yard here that he wants to get tilled up and get ready for planting seed. And well, already made one pass on it so far on the Kubota B7500. She's doing good. Got that county line 48-inch tiller on there. And here's what it looks like so far. So, didn't really do it before, but as I'm tilling through this, I am hitting just a ton of stuff like this, which is not good, but about to walk through it now and kind of try to hand pick all that out of here and then do another pass going the opposite way. But yeah, it's like everything else around here is row homes and industrial businesses. And then that's actually the original horse carriage house down there for this property. Don't know what it's being used for now, but yeah, there's this whole little like elevated property here. Oh, it's pretty sweet. So again, the plan now is park the tractor and go through this by hand and foot and just try to pick up what debris I can. Well, after two passes, I'll show you what we got here. Blew the seal out on the top of this tiller here, so hopefully that's not too bad of a fix. Sure, a cheap part, but yeah, she's leaking like a sieve now. And I'll show you what we got here throughout the yard. Came out pretty level and good, but this tiller doesn't even go down too deep, and it just keeps kicking up stuff like this right here. I mean, look at this. Like, I'm just destroying my tiller by doing this. And so he's pretty happy with the product so far. Told him, you know, let it rain once and then pick out all the boulders you see and such. I think the best option to finish this job off, though, is going to be getting 5 or 10 yards of topsoil, maybe more, and putting a couple inches of topsoil over everything and then seeding it and rake that out nice and level. Again, I'm gonna kick out the rest of these rocks and then go home and probably repair this machine. Hey, his original request was to just turn the soil over, right? Well, turned it over, and now you got plumbing pipes and bricks and rebar laying on the top. Sometimes that's how it goes, though. So I just finished the Kubota job, and I saw this place on my way here and I couldn't resist going to check it out. But look at this building. Look at these clocks. They remind me of Back to the Future a little bit. Now to replace the seal on this tiller, I was able to find one online for about 15 bucks. And I was looking at a schematic. Looks like this whole hex rod right here is just free floating. Two ways of doing this. I could unbolt this whole thing from these two bolts here and then unbolt it from the main rotor shaft there and take this whole piece off, and then it looks like the steel will just come out of there. Or if I unbolt this from here and from the four underneath, which are not easy to get to, don't know if I can get you a view of those, but it's pretty caked up and tight in there. If I take those off, I might be able to just hammer this thing sideways, since that's on a universal joint anyway, and that'll give me enough room to pull the rod out. So that's what I'm going to try doing. Just 4 19mm head bolts on the bottom. You can see they had blue Loctite and 2 on the top. Probably should have pressure washed this thing first, but just as I thought, it slid right over, and this hex shaft just slid right out of here. I'm gonna make sure to grease this up real good before I put it back in, because I could see that getting seized up in the future inside of here. Now let's see if I can just pop this seal right out of here. There we go. Oh, well, isn't that beautiful? Not going to be as simple as I thought. This is why you always take things apart first before ordering parts. So now, because I'm going to have to order another part, you can see the bearing cage took a shit and just freaking got all shredded up in there. So check that out. Yeah, see the cage that separates all those balls from each other inside that bearing is all shredded and mangled. And yeah, I should have assumed it wasn't just a seal because it was leaking so darn bad. But looks like there's actually 2 bearings in there, so I gotta pull this apart and see what it needs though. It was so stinking easy. This whole assembly just pops right off of here. You got 1 circlip in here, and then this has got 2 bearings. So this has got one of those circlips that's a little tough to get out. Doesn't have anything to grab it. So let's see if I can get this. With 3 screwdrivers, I was able to pop that ring out. It's nice when they have something to grab on them, but this one didn't. Let's see if this comes out of here now. Okay, the inner bearing looks to be in great shape. No problems there. Probably should replace it, but I'll see how much they cost. Got a retaining ring here to get this gear off, or it looks like this bearing might be a press fit on there. But, and then this other one, you had there's a circlip in there and a stop sitting in there, and this bearing just hammered right out of there. But yeah, this is the one that's toast, done for. I stand corrected. Upon further inspection of this retaining ring, it's actually not by design like that. There are some retaining rings that are like that inside of transmissions, but I went searching around and boom, look what I found. Got my new parts here. This is all I could find left from the retaining ring, so I might have to pop that cover off and take a look if they're on the bottom. I already tried putting a magnet on the bottom of the gear case and bringing it up, but nothing down there using that method. I get this paper gasket cleaned off. Now put it back together. And that's ready to throw back in. Hopefully the new retaining ring doesn't do the same thing as the old one. Some grease on the shaft, silicone to seal instead of the paper gasket, and Teflon tape on these bolts. And that's done. Getting this gear case line back up was a little tough, but nothing else of the job was hard. Hopefully this video was helpful or entertaining in some way, shape, or form. This video was a little bit different than what I usually do, but still fun to try new things and whatnot. So anyway, I'm Chris Brown. Till next time, no nonsense, know how. Enjoy your day, evening, night, whatever, and I'll see you next time.